Okay, so this is my first go at recording some content based on my week. I journal every day, and what I've added to my journaling is something that day that I've found interesting, that perhaps is worthy of talking about. There's no real goals with this. I'm going to do it in one take, one cut, so it's a bit more real and speaking from the heart, not scripted, apart from the bullet points that I've written in my journal as to the things that have piqued my interest this week. I might put it into a podcast episode. I might just repurpose it into written content for a weekly LinkedIn post or a newsletter. I'm not really sure yet. I'm just going to see how it goes, but the idea is to get my thoughts. I prefer to speak than writing, and yeah, get my thoughts out of my brain at the end of the week. See if any of them are any good. Might be complete shit, but at the worst, it will be a useful exercise to me as another form of journaling to review the week and to see what comes out of it. So the first thing I wrote was Tony Robbins. I've been listening to, got really into Chris Williamson's podcast, and as you're probably aware, Stephen Bartlett's as well. And Tony Robbins was on Stephen Bartlett's, and the thing that stood out that he said was talking about purpose and contribution, and it really struck a chord with me, where he was talking about the Stephen somebody who has built a lot of the hotels and owns a lot of Las Vegas, and he spent, I think it was 89 million on a painting, and Tony Robbins couldn't see the value in it, whereas the person that bought it could. And Tony Robbins then talked about where he sees value, and that's in contribution. He puts a lot back into charity, and a lot of the work that he does is around world hunger, and it's very inspiring, but I can absolutely relate to the contribution side of things. And for me, over the last couple of years in particular, since I started my new business in September, I always knew that there was something that I wanted to do. Didn't really know what that was going to be. Dabbled in a few things, daily posting on Instagram, LinkedIn. But what really I think has hit home is what my values are, is what I've been able to stick with really easily, what I enjoy. It lights me up, and therefore it's become an easier thing to stick with. And a bit more detail on that, I guess, is my new business is in the education sector, which is my background. It's very much giving back to the community, but providing an education for young people that perhaps struggle in mainstream education. And for those of you that know Ikigai, I won't go into detail because I don't know off the top of my head what the 4 circles are, which feed into your purpose in the middle. Maybe that's for next week. But that process helped me to land on what my purpose is and what drives me. And Tony Robbins' episode really, hit home that I'm on the right path with what I'm doing. And then the work doesn't feel like work because I enjoy it and I know that I want to give back. And that's perhaps why this second business, which is just me, has taken off after 4 months, and we're in profit after 4 months, which is exactly where I wanted to be. But yeah, it perhaps has exceeded my realistic expectations. The second one is living with an open heart. Chris Williamson talked about a song by Jon Bellion and Luke Combs called Why. I'd not heard it before. It's not an overly new song, but if you haven't heard it, check it out. And there's a few lyrics in there. Once I'm in love, my heart is wide open. And then the chorus is, why love anything at all? And there's a phrase in it as well, which is, the higher I fly, the further I fall. And it's really interesting again, I can resonate with what I've been through personally in the last 2 years, where opening your heart again can be difficult. However, it's that risk reward, and the reward is always far greater. And if you close off that open heart, that willingness to find love again in relationships, but also to try and fly high in business or personally and strive, yes, there's further to fall, because you might fall further in love with somebody and the heartbreak could potentially be worse than it was before. You could start a new business, invest into it as I have done, and I wouldn't say we're flying high, but the potential to fly high is there, and therefore the possibility of falling further is also there as well. But what I took from the song was it's worth the risk, because living a life full of love and happiness and fulfillment in all of the things that I've mentioned. Family is my number one value. My daughters are everything to me and love them dearly. And yeah, living with that open heart, you get so much more out of it. And for me personally, I'm not averse to risks, and taking the risk in business as I have done. Yeah, it could fail, absolutely, but I believe in myself and I believe what I'm doing, and I have further to fall, but I don't want to be sitting here or somewhere thinking, oh, what if I'd tried this, what if I'd done that. So yeah, that's what I took from that song. Just checking that I am recording, which is yeah. And yeah, just to touch on that finally from my daughter's perspective, you know, it's unconditional love, so it's not an optional thing. But as I said, love them dearly, and nothing makes me happier than seeing them happy. And recent ski holiday just, yeah, filled my heart with joy and happiness, which was just the best. Okay, next point was personally, I suppose, and I don't want to go into loads of detail on this, but my divorce was finalised this week, and I may cut this out of if this ever goes anywhere. And thinking about how I feel of sort of 2 years of uncertainty and not knowing if we could keep the house, for instance, as an example, but lots of uncertainty, and I'm not good with that. I need certainty. I won't go into the ins and outs of it, but the feeling that I felt when it was finalised was a strange one, very much of relief, and the weight that I've been carrying around with thinking of, you know, what if this were to happen, and trying to just sort of crack on with life. And my only reflection on that, without going into detail, is yes, I felt drained this week, but what I've reflected on is the positives that have come out of the last couple of years, which, yeah, I won't list them, but there's many. The biggest one being how I'm very proud of what I've achieved, that I've managed to not just keep my life on track, but actually grow and become a better person, a better dad, a better business owner, a better partner, I'd like to think, and starting a new business, which is in profit, as I've mentioned, within the first 6 months, or even that. I'm very proud of that, and taking that risk while there was a lot of uncertainty in my life. I've managed to start and be in the most wonderful relationship with somebody for over a year now, and build that relationship in a really healthy way, despite previous trauma. I've been there for my daughters, a solid person throughout the whole thing, been there with them. They've been there for me at times, but proud of the dad that I am and became through that period, and being able to put a brave face on during the difficult times. And my health and fitness, I doubled down on that. It's become a bit of an obsession, but there's worse obsessions to have. But again, I'm proud that it didn't go the other way, that I didn't stop exercising and stop going to the gym. Yes, I've doubled down, and some perhaps would say in an unhealthy way. I don't believe so. I'm very proud of the shape that I've managed to stay in, but it's more than that. It's the health and my well-being, and being the best dad and the best business owner and partner. I need to be the best version of me, which I know is cliche and a bit cheesy, but I do firmly believe that, and that's my kind of foundation, really, my health. I don't really get ill because of how I look after myself, I believe, and therefore I can give my best and my absolute all to every other part of my life. So very proud of that. Moving on, and the final point is family, and the realization of how important family and people are to me. Life is nothing without people around you, and as I said, family is my number one value, but I enjoy being around people as well, and building connections and building friendships, and in business and my personal life, but also reflecting and remembering those people that are super close to me and who I hold dearly, and sort of never forgetting what they mean to me, those people that really showed up for me when I needed them, but also those deep-rooted connections with people in my life who mean the world to me. So on the last 2 points of me kind of feeling proud of what I've done in the last couple of years, and friends and family, is for me in 2026, I'm very ambitious this year. I want to absolutely smash it and do some incredible things, which I know I'm capable of, but never at the detriment to my family and my relationship and the people around me. Because like I said, you can have all the things in the world, but if you've not got people to share it with, then what's the point? And anyone that follows my social media knows that I like to go on holidays and visit places with Becky, with my daughters, with my family, and that's my driver. That's what I want to kind of achieve in business, so that I can have more of those experiences and share them with the girls, and open their eyes as to what's out there, being mindful of their appreciation of things, and trying to instill that hunger and that drive for them when they get a bit older to want to achieve incredible things, because they're both capable of it, and I see that as a very important part of me being a dad. So that is my first vlog. Who knows where it's going to go? We'll see. I'll rewatch it. If it's cringe, I'll probably just turn it into a blog or a faceless podcast. That might be better. Anyway, that's it from me. Over and out.